trường, các tòa thị trấn này là đèn chiếu đồng hồ thật, đằng trước và đằng sau, kết cấu của một chiếc đồng hồ cơ quả lắc chạy tự động. Đây là cung điện hoàng gia và nhà quốc hội Đan Mạch.
Over there. All the different performing arts used to take place in the Royal Theatre, which is down at the end of Nyhavn. But the building has been decapitated twice. She had an arm cut off and she's been spray painted many times over. But every time Matthew do a story relating to the Little Mermaid, I have some friends who used to live in Shanghai, China. Back in 2010, they came to visit me. And of course, they wanted to go see the Little Mermaid. So I took them to see the Little Mermaid. Later, they're still here. They never did. But the next Christmas ball was.
Đây là đang huấn luyện ngựa hoàng gia. Đây là bức tượng này trên đường rất là nổi tiếng.
To the other side and have a look at the Barmore side. So over here, your right hand side, you see the two small pavilions with green roofs, one with a crown and the left. Power in Denmark all and ahead of you is blocks on 25-year-old building. Lots of interesting things on the inside, mostly related to sustainability and independent architecture center.
Cái em hỗ trợ anh
We're gonna pass down here and we have a number of little bridges here. So here we have please sit down, please, by the name of Peter's Cup, and that was a flagship in the Danish Navy during the Cold War. Also decommissioned the museum. And then in the corner, right next to the yellow building, you see a yellow brick building with green roof and an interesting black structure at the top. That is a mast crane going back to the 1750s, Italy. You can see that in the chimney, obviously. People often ask about the water level and tides and stuff in here. And it's a little complicated, because mostly when you have strains going north-south, not much tide. Tide comes when you have east-west, because it's the moon dragging the water, so to speak. So we don't. So this is the saddest part of the trip, because on your right hand side, inside that big white box, this is where Børsen, the stock exchange, used to be. Built in 1620. You can see a photo of it on your right hand side here. Built in 1620 by Christian IV, one of our most famous kings. It burned down April last year. On the opposite side. That's where the airport is, around 10 kilometers on the other side of the... So we're now going up north. Later on we'll pass by on the back of these islands and come back to where we started. Copenhagen Harbor is very clean nowadays. It wasn't when I was a kid. In Sweden, which is 20 kilometers to the east of here. So there was a small ferry running about 1 hour. After the bridge to Sweden was completed in the year 2000. There are 3 pedestrian bicycle bridges. This is called a kissing bridge because when it opens, it slides open and it slides back, and when it slides back closed, it looks like the 2 parts are kissing each other. And on your left-hand side, this is Nyhavn, the new harbor from 1670. And any tourist brochures in Copenhagen will surely have a photo of it for the roof. So you dive into the water, it's 24 meters right here. And then we have the Opera Park. It just opened 2 years ago. There was a big issue with parking out here, so now they constructed parking garages underneath there, and then you have the parking zone. Now this entire area from here and going half the way out to where we're going. On your left hand side, you see this looks like a brand new building, but it is not. And when we come down at the end of the building, have a look at the inside of it. It's quite a unique building. Doing it. Often you then maybe attach a new house to the old house, and you will see other examples along the way. On your left hand side now, these are the cannon boat sheds. Going back, the management, administration, some educational institutions and so forth. So everything else has been passed over, except for that bit. But here used to be Burmeister and Wayne. Navsailøen, that's what this area is called. But Burmeister Wayne was one of the largest shipyards in the world. If you go back 100 years or so, eventually they went out of business in the early 1990s. Labor costs are just too high here for businesses like that. So the area was left abandoned for a decade or two. But now it has been turned out to a very interesting, largest street food market in Northern Europe. You have 70, 80 or so food stores with food from anywhere in the world you can think of. Lots of bars, and on a warm summer night you have hundreds of thousands of people sitting here along the water, and then you can enjoy the sunset on the opposite side in the west. Difficult to spot, but you just look for the tourists. It's right in the middle of where you see all the tourists. Also many tourists get a little bit, and some tourists get a little bit disappointed, because most photos of the Little Mermaid, they're from the land side.
Copenhagen này rất là tấp nập khách du lịch tham quan. Đây là kiểu ra chỗ nàng tiên cá. Cái nàng tiên cá là một cái địa điểm rất là nổi tiếng tại Đan Mạch.